All right, Shalom. I'm going to start out by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto you. How about Shemal Shah, about Shimmer Kakwadash, double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to all the Akim out there pushing the word of sincerity and in truth. Yeah, just want to do a lesson on basically these harsh conditions we live in here in America. I'm talking about you blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. And, you know, you're the, you're the butt of every joke, in this system. You'll watch these different presidential elections and things, which I just listened to the final one with Biden and Trump, and they always, bring up the fact of, blacks in harsh conditions, whether they're suffering police brutality or racial discrimination, racial inequality, and they'll actually give, of course, the politicians, they'll give their answers on how they're trying to reform the system and restructure, whether it's the prison system and things of that nature. But this place is just done, man. It's so much corruption. It's so much damage that this place has done unto our people, not only physically where we reside, mentally, psychologically, socially, all these things actually, you know, in terms of our people, we're broken down. And we need spiritual structure starting out. It all starts with the spirit. We have to be and the first thing is to detach yourself from this the cares and the things of this world, man. you know Looking to actually appease this system. Like I said, if you have a job and you do certain things to actually get by, okay, handle your business, that's essential. you know you gotta, as it's written, you don't work, you don't eat. You got to do certain things to actually keep yourself afloat in this system, but you always got to have in the back of your mind that you're getting effed over. And understand that you're getting effed over. You, if and not only you directly, but the whole nation, man. And I just wanted to go into this you know, one fact which I was listening to, the local news station here, and they were speaking on the fact of, blacks and Latinos live in these areas that's prone to, flooding, prone to wildfires. And they basically live in the harshest. They basically live in the harshest areas, and they're damn near underground in areas where they could be buried by water and stuff like that. And then on top of that, what adds insult to injury is, the landlords. Well, I wouldn't use the word landlord, but because Jake don't really. I just use it. I use landlord loosely. When you're dealing with, you have tenants, you have these different, depending on, how you're actually, whether you're renting or owning a house, yada yada yada, different names that they actually go by, but they fail to actually tell you or meet the requirements of actually giving you the insight of what you're subject onto when moving into these different residential areas. And they do that deliberately. They know how to work the system. They know how to snake the system, and not actually even provide you essential information, whether that house has been pre-flooded or if that house is subject to a housing complex is actually subject to be flooded. You see, so and you Jakes live in these areas that's you know in cases that basically you're gonna actually experience floodings more than the rich, due to the fact that they understand, terrain. They understand high risk flood zones, and those areas that's high risk flood zones, high risk wildfires and high risk disasters. They'll deliberately reduce the rent, and it's mainly in these different harsh parts of the city, harsh parts of the location, whether you're in California, whether you're in Florida, New Orleans, so on and so forth. You'll be in these basically rigid areas, subject unto the harshest of conditions, and there's no way out. There's no, you're not able to protest and speak against it. Hell, you don't even know the laws. Like I said, they don't disclose these things, and you don't know the laws on these things. Most jakes don't even take these things into consideration, and they look at this as a minor thing, which really, you know, you're supposed to be pampered, man. Us as Israelites, we're supposed to be, taken care of. We're supposed to be at the top of the world, man. But not only are we at the bottom, we're at the bottom of the bottom. We're dirt poor. But it says state laws fail to disclose flood risks on this first article. It says climate change means more flooding in much of the U.S. as sea levels rise and extreme rain becomes more common. Many people who live in flood-prone areas do not know they are at risk. Right, so a lot of people are oblivious to the fact that they're at risk of being flooded. So when there's a natural disaster that takes place, and you have flood warnings, it's mainly gonna hit the area that you live at. All right, you're gonna actually face the harshest part of that flood, man. Like I said, like you just said, the sea level's rising, and you'll live in these different areas that's just beds for just flooding, and they don't take you into consideration, the assets that you may possess, what you may have in your house, your family. They don't take none of these things into consideration, because if they did, they would forewarn you and give you prevention planning. They would actually give you certain things to actually build some type of protectionary hedge from yourself. But what? They just want the money from you, all right, in exchange for your life, all right? It says the number of families in harm's way is growing as sea levels rise and extreme rain becomes more common, right? And you're exchanging your life, to work, to bust your ass, to purchase the property that you're living in or renting out to actually live there, while the individual that's actually renting it out to you is not even keeping his end of the deal. And how wicked is that, man? And this is just one amongst many things. We're bombarded with so many harsh situations and conditions that it's more than we could count, man. That's why it's known as the valley of the shadow of death in Psalms the 23rd chapter. Everything around us excites death, from the food that we eat to the clothes that we wear to the water that we drink. It's inundated with toxins, to the cars that we drive, to the factories that we work in, the locations that we are at. They're high risk, and of course you got certain jakes that's in the middle class, and not all blacks live in the slummiest areas, because hell, myself, I don't live in the slums. It is not upscale, but it's not impoverished either. But for the most part, that's why us brothers that preach this word, bring this truth out, we speak on behalf of the nation, man. The majority or percentage of people that lives in ghettos and hoods and these barrios and basically burrowed and buried in these harsh areas is blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. And it's another one. Americans lack information to stay out of disasters path. Right. See, so a lot of people are oblivious to this, and this seems like this is one of those topics that's boring to most. Who the hell wants to hear about flood prevention and things of that nature, wildfire risk and things of that nature, natural disasters that may come a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. Most people don't care. They're about living for. That's how you blacks have been conditioned. You've been conditioned to just live for today, live now, party this weekend. Today's Friday. Tomorrow's Saturday. You could go to the convenience store now. If you have the day off. If not, you could go tomorrow. You could go drive to your to the heart of the city. You can go pick up some women. That's why you have that saying that ignorance is bliss. But see, our people don't take in consideration that we're getting effed over, man. While we're living in these areas, the white man is plotting against you. That's why majority of you jakes are dying off from this COVID, That's why majority of you jakes, like I said, you live in these these backwood locations, and you'll go to these certain hoods, and you be like, God damn, they need to tear this whole city. They literally need to rip this whole city apart, man, and reform it. And if they were to, actually use taxpayer monies to reform these different areas, they're gonna gentrify it. They're gonna throw you blacks out. They're gonna raise the rents entirely to the point that you actually can't afford, because you Jakes don't have, in most cases, you don't have diplomas. A lot of you haven't went to college. You don't have any type of credentials. So you live and you work you live a minimum wage based lifestyle. So when the rent actually goes up, it's not like these different factories and companies are going to give you a promotion to the point you can actually meet the odds. You're going to be shit out of luck. Your ends ain't going to meet. All right? But it says, just jumping down to the point, it says, like millions of people every year who move, the families had access to a wide variety of information about everything from school to public transit to lead paint. Where they never learned until it was too late was that their homes all were in areas that are increasingly prone to flooding or wildfires, right? And that's speaking on a specific family that were unaware of that. And most of us are unaware of how bad look at this. These are the wildfire risks, and you have the flood risk to properties. You see, you have the extreme, severe, major, and you'll highlight it, and you go to you'll look at it. But if you actually look at it from a population standpoint, it's going to be predominantly blacks and Latinos in these extreme or severe flood risk locations, as well as these severe and extreme wildfire risk locations. You see California burning up, Florida, subject to a lot of wildfires and things of that nature, So this place isn't for us, man. The Lord gave us a chosen location where we ought to dwell and lay our heads safely, which, of course, through corruption and all these different things that took place, we fell from our glory, and now we're in hell. We're in the worst. We're basically in the pit. We're in the system. But we're supposed to be living in paradise. That's why when the Lord returns, he's going to put us back where we rightfully belong. But it says about 15 million properties, including both residence and commercial buildings, are at significant risk for flooding, and 4.5 million homes are at significant risk from wildfires. This year alone, Hurricane Laura inflicted at least $8 billion in damage to southwest Louisiana, and record-setting wildfires in California destroyed more than 9,200 structures. Numbers such as those will grow as climate change makes the earth hotter and floods and fires get more frequent and severe. Right. So, scriptures speak about, we're at the doors of this hell, man. This stuff isn't going to slow down, even though Jake would like it to. This stuff isn't going to slow down, man. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. And that's why you should be pushing through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Al-Shah to get the hell out of here, man. This is not our rest. As it is written, this is not our rest. What it says, arise ye and depart, but this is not your rest, and it will destroy you. Hebrews 13:14. For here have we no continuing city, but we seek one to come. Right. So we don't have no city. You got these jakes that rep their cities in Atlanta, in Florida, Florida State, you rep your cities there. Jacob rep their counties, Dade County, and Miami and Chicago and all these different locations. Jake will actually put the city on their back. They'll actually tattoo the whole city on their back, literally. And then they'll represent their area code, they'll represent their block. But none of these parts of these cities are actually even providing or protecting you, man. These cities hate you. Atlanta hates the blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. Chicago hates you blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. California, which is a state, but the different cities within, California, Los Angeles, so on and so forth, hates you blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. And is the city going to just scream out, I hate you? No. Through actions from your mayors, from your local officials, from the system itself on how it's designed to break you down from where you live at. Look around you. look at how you living, and there's no one that's there to refurbish your try to maintain your location. A lot of these residents you stay in, they don't even want to go out their way and actually clean your residence, man. You'll have certain jakes that have mold infestations. There's basically housing is jacked up, and then they'll plead, but you know nobody will answer. They'll knock on the doors, and they'll actually be consistently requesting to actually whether change their apartment or anything of that nature, actually get some household structures, things structured properly, and they don't even get that done. How much more them actually telling you at flood risk and actually giving you a location where you're actually not prone to get swept away. This place doesn't give a damn about you, man. That's why we have to fight. Like I said, I'm going to read that over, Hebrews 13 and 14. For we have no continuing city, but we seek one to come. And there's many other scriptures, but I'm going to, actually just cut this short. Got to do a couple things before I go in. But hopefully, brothers were edified. I'm going to end it by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Shema, Shabbat, Shemar, Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, Akim.